All right, so let's continue then with our coverage of the 2024 National Senior Certificate Results announcement that's happening later today. This afternoon, a quality assurance body, Umalusi, approved the 2024 Matric Results. Let's now take you back to SABC News reporter Patricia, who is in Fairland for us in Johannesburg, to give us the very latest ahead of that important announcement this evening. Prof. Metcalf, Patricia, made an important point in conversation with you earlier, saying that today is essentially about the system and how it has performed as a whole, and also, of course, acknowledging just the important role that not only the learners have undertaken during this time, but also teachers, importantly.
Well, definitely, Unati, and I'm joined by the unions, the bodies that are fighting for the rights of those teachers, and who are also part of the schooling system, the schooling family. And of course, they have a big interest in what is happening today, and they're also looking forward to see exactly how the results will look like. And of course, you would know that we are now, gearing up for the technical briefing that is set to start around 4 o'clock. So I want to start here with NATU, the president of NATU, Mr. Sibusiso Malinga. In short, you heard what Umalusi announced. They gave it the thumbs up, but certain concerns have already been raised. Just your reaction.
No, thank you so much. We as the National Teachers Union, I must say we are happy and we are confident that the result will improve this year, taking into consideration that our teachers, irrespective of union affiliation, they have worked very hard. They conducted afternoon classes, morning classes, without any payment, we know. They worked under a very, difficult situation where you find that they did not get, norms and standards. The principals of schools went an extra mile, taking from their pockets, because they know that teaching is a calling. So we are actually hoping that definitely results will improve from last year, because even the learners themselves, they were willing to learn. They put effort that we never seen. There were also some camps that were organized by, district officials and so on. And also parents played a very important role, because, if a learner is there, needs to be supported not by teachers only, but supported by all, because education is a societal issue.
We have also heard the concerns that have been raised about cheating that continues. Mpumalanga and KZN again, delivering the highest results of malfeasance that happened. Just your inputs there. How concerned are you about this? And it keeps on happening every year.
No. So far they are unfounded. But what we only say, if such things are found, they must be dealt with. Because, it tarnishes the image of our exams, and it tarnishes the image, let's say, of our learners and the work that has been done by our teachers. But as I'm saying, we are confident. Our teachers have worked very, very hard. We know that they did not get the full support that they should have got from the department. In terms of, teachers were not enough in some classes, and many more. And others were actually operating under the dilapidated structures, So, but because they know that teaching is a calling, they have done their best.
All right, thank you so much. We turn to SADTU, Secretary General here, Mr. Mugwena, Maluleke. Thank you so much for joining us. A big moment. We're gearing up for the technical briefing and then the official announcement by the Minister, where we will see how the class of 2024 fared in their final exams. What are your hopes?
So SADTU's hope is that the results will be improving, both qualitatively and in terms of the quantum, especially because of the work that the teachers have put into the teaching. But also the class of 2024 is one of that group of students that were affected by COVID, as we remember, but they have demonstrated resilience. They have demonstrated that they are willing to do everything they can, that nothing must really spoil their future. And therefore, we want to thank our teachers, we want to thank the parents, we want to thank the students, we have to thank the community for making sure that the schools are safe. So we are happy that we'll see an improvement. Look, SADTU is not really concerned more about whether it's 90% or 92%. What we're more concerned about is the quality of the passes. Are we having more of our students really improving the bachelors so that they're then able to can enroll in quality courses for them to be able to make a big difference in our country? And that's what we're concerned about. We're also concerned, obviously, about the subjects or learning areas that our students are enrolling in. Are they able to help them to see the world differently in terms of whether these are gateway subjects, mathematics, science, accounting, and language in particular? So those are the areas that SADTU is quite interested in, and clearly it is that we want to say big thank you to our teachers.
Talking about quality, that is all at times that is impacted by the lack of equal access, and we continuously still hear some of the concerns that are raised about schools in your rural areas that are not well resourced, that do not have enough manpower, enough teachers. Throughout the years of this particular cohort, the class of 2024, who started at the time when COVID-19 struck in the country and the world at large, what were the challenges relating to, areas, rural areas that don't have enough resources and so forth?
The challenges are so many. One of the critical challenges that we're faced with in education is, your social capital, where parents are migrant workers away from their children, and that in itself is really impacting negatively on these particular learners, because then they don't have anyone to give them that particular support as parents. And this is one of the areas where we need assistant teachers, which is also a challenge that the teachers have been faced with during this particular period. Some of the things that the parents were not able to can afford, although these are free, free schools in the rural areas, the resources are very poor.
And how does that impact teaching? Teachers, those are your members. How are they affected when they have to, deliver such an important service under such difficult circumstances with such limited resources?
Definitely, it affected them, psychologically, mentally, and, health-wise. We see the number of teachers who really are going through difficult times because they don't want to see students failing. They have this attachment with them. So they are emotional as the teachers when they see students not achieving. And therefore, these austerity measures must stop. We are going to fight as an organization because it is destroying the assets that we have in our country, being the teachers that we have, and we need to making sure that our public schools in the rural areas are the same as what you find in the suburbs, because we cannot continue to treat our children and our teachers as if they're third class citizen. We cannot afford that. We have really, unfortunately, all of us have allowed a situation where the minority kept on having more wealth, more resources, and when the majority has always been understanding. And I don't think we can really carry on with that understanding. Our teachers are human, and then they have got to be treated as human beings.
Those elements of inequality, how do they impact the matric results ultimately? When we look at the national figure from what we have seen historically, not today perhaps, but the previous years, how do those limitations and inequalities ultimately affect the total result that we see?
Whilst you have no-fee school like in Quintile 1 and 2 doing their best, they do that at the expense and at the cost of health of the teachers and the students. One is that they don't have holidays, they don't have weekends for them to make up for those particular inequalities, because they don't have resources, they don't have tutors to do that. So what we are seeing is that you'll continuously see that the suburb schools are performing better because they've got better resources, and therefore these particular, they aggravate the situation where you have our schools themselves really demanding from the parents who are not working to bring other items at school which they cannot afford, and that instead of the government really addressing those particular things. So it does have, an impact on the overall picture of the examination in terms of which students are taking mathematics, which students are taking mathematical literacy, which students are doing accounting, and then which students are not doing those particular things. That rural schools, some of them will do this particular gateway subject, and some may not be able to do them precisely because they may not be able to employ, tutors. They may not employ, additional teachers for them to be able to reduce the class sizes. So it does impact on the outcome of this particular result. But obviously, I must say, I will always say, our schools that are no-fee school are doing their best and they are competing with the best, but at the cost of the teachers' lives.
All right. Thank you so much. As, of course, we gear up to the technical briefing that is set to start around 4 o'clock. And then the official announcement later today and this evening. We will hear exactly what the 2024 matric results are and how exactly did this group perform. What were the challenges that perhaps stood in their way? Last year we heard that the matric results were perhaps the best in years. Will this year be even better? That is what we are all hoping for and looking forward to. We'll see a little bit later today. It's back to studio.